Hello, and welcome to another fun-filled episode of Block Talk. As always, we're your hosts, Crypto Nikolai and Crypto Foxtrot, coming at you with hard-hitting news analysis and, of course, all the day's coin bleeding that happened in yesterday's sell-off.
Every day, so tilted, so tilted.
So, what happened yesterday? I mean, what can we say if we were summing up in a few words? Is bloodbath an appropriate word for what happened yesterday?
I mean, blood in the streets, man, because it is filling every single storm drain, every single gutter.
Mm-hmm.
Barely anything survived it. I would probably equate this to the crypto equivalent of a nuclear warhead going off in the market.
Yeah.
Not looking too great. A lot of red.
Oh man,
pink levels rising.
The pink levels went through the roof, and unless you tethered or shorted, in which case you're not pink, you're green. You're so green. Actually, it's actually crazy how green you are. I'm gonna see if I can get the date of yesterday here.
All I know is it was so stupid. It happened so fast too. And it's purely conjecture at this point, but everybody seems to be pointing at the Goldman Sachs trading desk comment that was made as a reason why this happened. I don't know if I believe that entirely.
Well, that's a convenient news article and news headline to look at. I think that played a role to some degree.
Yeah, to some degree, yes. But to cause this, something, what do they know that we don't?
Well,
let me put my aluminum foil hat on.
Okay, so I think there was some manipulation yesterday. There was a really interesting, I believe it was a CoinDesk News article about how basically some data analysis leading up to this massive sell-off showed an irregularity in social content. And so the content was, in terms of magnitude, on a scale that data researchers did, they actually found out that it was way outside normal activity. I mean, we're talking outside three standard deviations.
Right.
And so the odds of that just happening naturally are extremely low. I mean, it's like 0.4% or something like that. Like, it's very, very low that you'd be outside the three standard deviations from normal activity, which on this chart signals artificial content and generation. And so if there's artificial content generation being made, then that could, the authors stop short of saying definitely is, but it definitely could be manipulation.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Because if I'm not mistaken, it was some sort of like AI that was running, that was like gathering and scraping data and running it over and over and over again that determined the irregularity.
Sorry,
Tracy.
Sorry,
Tracy's up to some hijinks.
Yep, all day, every day. So anyway, if we look at the the 1 day, actually let's get the 2 day. That's what I'd really like to do here. If we can, yes, perfect. Okay. So that seems a little high.
Yeah. That just doesn't seem right to me, for some reason.
Yeah, the numbers seem a bit high. Alright, well, anyway, Coin360 obviously does have its limitations. But if we do look at the 1 day, now keep in mind that these percentages, these are not reflecting the true percentages as they were yesterday.
Right.
Yesterday's percentages really were quite a bit worse. I mean, Bitcoin, actually did hold out at about one digit losses, but the majority of the market
and the
were double digit losses yesterday. And the best of the pack would have been Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin Diamond had a bit of a pump and dump.
Naturally.
And that was just, it was kind of in counter momentum to Bitcoin. That does not mean that Bitcoin Diamond is replacing Bitcoin
No,
by any
no,
means.
no, 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 no.
Bitcoin Diamond is very small and is really insignificant next
Yeah,
to
like
that.
some of these, there's been cases in the past where there's been downtrends where some of these Bitcoin forks like Bitcoin Gold and Bitbar and all that stuff, they end up pumping while everything else is kind of bleeding out. Um, so I guess you could sort of say like it's people just trying to scrape whatever profits they can where they can. Um, but doing so is extremely dangerous and very, very risky because pump and dumps uh, they can be really good or they can be really, really bad.
Yeah.
Because the market can change on that pump and dump just like that.
Well, like we've said before too, a lot depends on the profitability of your trade where you get in.
Right.
So if you know about this pump and dump ahead of time because you're in a Telegram pump and dump group, then yeah, you might have the notice. But if you're sitting there
Mm-hmm.
watching 1 minute candles on Binance or even using a shorting or options trading platform like BitMEX,
True.
your information is more limited to what you can see on the candles. And if you're lagging behind a minute or two, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny indeed. I hate Nick Bruner. Thanks for tuning in the chat. Your message is just warming my heart.
Yeah,
today.
man. Yeah, it's whether it's hate or love, even contempt. At least you got a fan out there somewhere.
Yep, someone is loving it. So thanks a lot for tuning in. So when we
already got some haters,
yeah, I know.
and we're only 10 streams in.
Yeah, just building up the hate. Let it flow through you because we're not stopping. So.
No.
Welcome to the stream. And so, anyway, we wanted to obviously note the sell off from yesterday.
Yeah.
But that does not by any means mean that cryptocurrency is dying.
No.
It doesn't mean that Bitcoin's headed to zero.
No.
It doesn't mean, all this hyperbole that you see out there. It's not indicative of an overall trend. This was just kind of 1 day, massive sell off that really just kind of impacted everything.
These things happen. You have to be prepared. Make sure you have your stop losses set, in case something like this does happen.
Yeah.
You're able to protect your profits, or, even if you're not able to protect your profits, you're at least able to break even and protect your investment.
Now, there was one other, bright spot in an otherwise dark world, and that was on Dogecoin.
Dogecoin
actually kind of bucked the trend a little bit and was able to avoid the massive sell-off. And so with Dogecoin, really maintaining, I would say, in the midst of this massive sell-off, you have to wonder, is that the new stablecoin?
I don't know if I would call it the new stablecoin. It could be. It could be at one point, one day, but I think the hype that's been built sort of around the Doge Ethereum bridge, especially with the test happening yesterday, I think that kind of set it up for a little bit of resiliency.
Yeah.
For this massive sell-off.
Yeah.
So, it holding strong is definitely a good sign. If a meme coin can, plant its feet and stand firm amidst, an otherwise whirlwind of bullshit, I have a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
So,
and
that's good.
Now, with regards to the Dogecoin test on the Doge Ethereum bridge, my understanding was that they're still a ways out from a full working transfer in terms of what you might think of an automatic atomic swap, that kind of thing.
Yeah. There seems to have been a lot of confusion around how the demo was going to go yesterday. I guess a lot of people didn't get the memo that yesterday was just a test and not an actual, hey, we're going live.
Yeah.
So everybody was kind of like, well, when is it happening? When is it happening? Why isn't it pumping?
Yeah.
Well, guys, if you would have read the news, do a little research, you would have known that yesterday's demo was exactly that, a demo, just a test for sort of like investor proof that the concept is actually able to work. So yeah, like you said, they are quite a bit of ways out from the final product and launching that final product.
Yeah.
But like we saw yesterday, it held pretty firm despite the general downtrend. So I think that news sort of propped it up a little bit and
Yeah.
gives everybody a little bit of hope. So great stuff coming out of Doge and Doge Ethereum bridge test. So it's
Yeah.
great stuff, man. I like it.
Yeah, and I think Doge already has its niche in the crypto market, just being one coin that people will accept as tips. People can kind of.
It has utility.
It's been around for so long and it's persisted and recently gained value. Mm-hmm. So,
absolutely.
You can absolutely use it.
Yeah, I've held Doge before. I've traded Doge before. Mm-hmm. I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm definitely not above trading it either. Whatever I can scrape some profits out of, I'll trade on. But yeah, like you said, Doge has been around for quite a while, and it's become sort of a mainstay, despite having been born, out of a fork of Bitcoin and sort of started as a meme coin to poke fun at the general crypto crowd.
Yeah.
It has taken root, and I think it's here to stay. Love Doge, win Moon.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Moon soon.
Yes.
Moon real soon.
Yep. We hope so. That it's gonna.
For the sake of our Dogecoin crowd in the Discord.
Yeah, we have recently been reaching out on Facebook a bit more, and are very happy to have seen kind of an uptick in enthusiasm for crypto in general.
Yeah.
And so what we've done is incorporated some of that enthusiasm into the creation of one of our Discord channels, which is available for Doge holders, Doge traders, folks interested in the projects, and to have a place where they can discuss that. Outside of, I would say, the censored kind of Facebook, kind of moderated areas, groups, chats, that kind of thing. So if you're really looking to get outside of the Facebook platform, which we use kind of just because everyone's using it at this point, really just kind of reach out. But ultimately, our goal is to move to a more decentralized platform.
Oh, yeah.
And we've already kind of expanded to that. So if you really want to, go forward with, your discussions in a space where you're not going to get censored, well, you might just want to take yourself over to Minds,
Yep, the latest and greatest dApp to hit the Ethereum blockchain.
Yeah.
We've been using it quite a lot, learning a lot about it, and we're just sort of building our presence there. It's super simple. It's very clean. Still in early days of development, so there will be lots of improvements that come through. But I'm glad to say that we were sort of in on the ground floor of this.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of one of the early adopters of Minds.
Yeah.
And it's been really great to us so far. We've gotten a lot of followers and supporters.
Yeah.
So yeah,
definitely,
it's been really good.
Definitely been building a lot of traffic this week. Crypto Twitter. We haven't used a decentralized Twitter app yet, but we'll be adding that to our list of apps.
Crypto Twitter, is that what it's actually called? Is Crypto Twitter, or is it? I know there's Tribe, which is the EOS blockchain based social media. But yeah, we're definitely interested to hear more about that. So drop a link somewhere.
Oh yeah.
We're super big and heavy on Twitter. We actually just crossed our 100 follower milestone yesterday, so super pumped about that.
Oh yeah.
114. Yeah, man.
Huge movement here on Twitter as well, and you're absolutely right. Twitter is a place where, we see not just, I would say, speculation, kind of just wondering about the market, but we also see how there's just different levels of participation, right? You got your casual crypto, people. You got your folks who are in there just day in, day out trading, and then you've got your projects, and they all kind of meet.
It all comes together into one single source, and you're able to sort of sift through it and see what interests you. Twitter is the ultimate short form news source, and we definitely utilize it the best we can. So yeah, we always dump news and stuff there. Generally about three times a week or so, we dump a bunch of news in there.
Yeah.
And so, some crypto memes as well, to keep things light and funny.
Oh yeah, you got to have the memes,
Especially in these dark, bloody days, you
Yeah.
got to have something to laugh at.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the memes do keep things, keep things light, but also, they kind of help, increase discussion about certain topics.
Right.
And one thing that I wanted to just briefly touch on is how, despite the fact that we had a major sell-off yesterday, that doesn't mean that progress isn't happening. And so one of the things that we saw a huge milestone with the XRP with Ripple here. So Ripple was able to transfer over $1 billion. It was like 4 point something billion XRP. I think it was like 4.2, 4.7, something like that.
Something is very significant.
Over
amount.
4 billion XRP, which as we see is trading at 30 cents. So that's over $1 billion. And they had the whole amount traded across the network
for pennies
within seconds for about 33 cents.
Yeah, for pennies on the dollar.
So
that is insanely cheap.
Yeah, and when we think about the what Ripple's goal is, Ripple is really kind of the remittance, area is kind of where they're focusing.
Yeah, financial transfers, getting money from point A to point B as quickly and as cheaply as possible.
Definitely.
And they sort of prove that they can do it.
Yeah.
Because, how much do you think it would cost to move $1 billion worth of Bitcoin? Even $1 billion worth of Ether.
I would say there would be some fees there, but even outside of crypto, so I think the crypto fees are going to be lower, and depending on like the gas price for Ether, those kind of things. I think there's definitely something to be said for how much cheaper it is to move than fiat. So if you talk about moving USD, and then you talk about the old payment systems that have been around for 50 years that are, not been updated. Wire transfer has been around for forever.
Yeah.
And is super expensive and slow. So
very
Ripple is disrupting that industry big time.
Oh, yeah. That's just, turning its nose up at it.
Yeah. Now, we did also mention on a previous stream how we were going to be getting bigger into Ethereum gaming. We talked about how there were 3 different ways that projections have looked at and said, okay, there's three among others, there's 3 main venues that we're going to see increased activity, increased financial activity, gaming, trading, and gambling. So we touched briefly on the gambling last week. We have a demo. If we have time today, we'll get through. But we also talked about gaming, and so one of the ways that we see that gaming come in is through a game called Cryptic Conjure.
Yep.
Cryptic Conjure runs on Unreal 4 engine, I believe.
Yep, sure does.
And so I'm going to try to dial this into the stream. We're going to see how this works. If this is able to run, and we have it on stream, then we'll see what that looks like. So just we're going to get this dialed in here. And let's see.
Hey.
All right. Good. All right, that worked. So, Cryptic Conjure right now is in like extreme demo mode. This is just like the starting area, and they really just wanted to kind of show just the basics of the game.
Yeah, the functionality, sort of, to get an understanding of what the final product could look like.
Yeah.
I had an opportunity to mess around with it a little bit.
Kara continues to inform me I'm making a mistake.
Really interesting.
She says I shouldn't be speaking to
there are
you
some tweaks
or those
and,
like you.
Optimization
well, we'll
issues
show
that need to
her,
be
won't
fixed,
we?
But, this
I apologize
is still
for intruding,
very
but I have my
early
reasons.
demo stage.
My name is Cross.
As you
Consider
can see
this
in the bottom right
new
corner,
employee
prototype,
orientation.
version 1.05.
Move on forward, explore. I'll see you in a bit.
If this is the demo, I'm very, very eager to see what the shipped product looks like.
Yeah. So right now in the demo, we don't have any moves, but we can move around, and you can see kind of the control scheme there. When we get to this next room, we'll start to see what kind of the combat and some of the activity looks like there.
Game audio is pretty loud.
Okay, thank you. Let's see if I can dial that down here.
let us know if that's any better. We don't want to, blow you guys' eardrums out.
Yeah, I'm just dialing it down a little bit. Alright, so we get to...
Some of these stone guardians are still active. Let's change that, shall we? Time to cast
so basically what makes this different from your traditional kind of dungeon crawler or, something kind of like a casting, kind of style game. Spells are crafted and then traded between players, and as they're traded, they gain, or they lose.
A penalty.
Yeah. They lose power, and but they're done over the blockchain, which I think is pretty nifty. So we'll go through here, and so this demo is just kind of explaining how how to use the system and everything. Obviously there's a little bit of frame drop because we're streaming at the same time, but it's not too bad. So you can get a little dash going there just by hitting space, which is pretty nifty.
You can also hold the shift key to manifest a shield to mitigate damage. Hit the weird-looking pressure pad that's impressive. You can spark step out of attacks as well if you're quick enough. Next room.
All right. Yeah, it's lagging a bit. We just have a lot going on here on stream, but anyway. So what's cool about this? I just wanted to show where we craft a spell, and that's here on the next area. So Cave Scorpion. What up, Cave Scorpion?
Get wrecked.
Yeah. So this is going to be where we meet a NPC character, and this character is going to give us a spell.
Yeah. And the dialogue between the two characters is sort of the dialogue you could expect to have in between two playable characters. Sort of like an agreement that she's going to share the spell with your character,
right?
With the understanding that you don't share that spell with anybody else because those penalties are incurred across the board.
Yeah. And so here we see where they are sending us Searing Blast, etc. It has base power, modified power. Now, as you trade, you can see along this,
you can see the parabolic curve.
Yeah, this sort of power curve. As more people, receive this spell, it does lose its power.
Yeah.
So. And these spells are sent along the Ethereum blockchain,
giving them value.
You can see wallet addresses are entered. Now this is just for demo purposes. This isn't like a real wallet transaction, but essentially what would be happening in the future is you can trade for ether, portions of an ether or a full ether if you're desperate, and then basically we just accept. Okay.
Great.
So now we get a new spell, and we can use that to wombo combo the Scorpion. And so that's kind of the gameplay mechanic, right? Is mixing these spells together, and you can get more and more burst, as our NPC is telling us here. So first we can vortex it, and then we can just light it up. And so we can see how that works. And basically, this demo shows people that you can do transactions along the blockchain within game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can always just punch things. Alright, so this Scorpion's chasing us, right? So I can actually, without casting a spell, I could wave my my sword at it and
just poke him with it a couple times.
Yeah, so it does a little bit of damage, but it's not the equivalent of doing a full spell, So, and then we can just punch things. So basically, my initial impressions of this were very positive. I feel like they've done quite a bit in terms of designing, getting a feel. You're kind of just out there in the world, exploring a bit, and it's really interesting. Alright, so we did get a level from that, which is pretty exciting. So I'm going to group these guys up real quick.
Not as good as CryptoKitties. Are you kidding me?
Hey, CryptoKitties had I think 600 ether, activity. But we'll see.
I can't say much. I have a CryptoKitty, so.
Oh man, well you're doing pretty good if you have a CryptoKitty.
I mean, my 0.2% of an Ether valued kitty, so I mean, I must be fucking balling at that point.
Big balling.
I got enough Ether, I could spend 0.2%.
Yeah. All right, so now we got this.
That's ominous.
You got this homeboy over here. So we chonked him pretty hard. Let's get some mana back.
Some mana circles to help. I'd advise using them. They'll quickly replenish your MP.
So we'll just use that to absorb everything and fire it up.
Breed with my kitty. Hey, man. Have your kitty get in touch with my kitty, and we'll set up a little date.
Yeah. Let's do a quick little heal. You're getting a little low. And then here we... Oh, I might die here.
You got it.
I knew I was right about you.
Alright, so we took down the boss. There is a hard mode.
Yeah.
I don't know if you... Did you mess around with hard mode?
I did not.
Hard mode is actually hard. So we played the demo, and again, this is available just crypticconjure.com, and then you can read about it, learn about it, and download the playable demo here. And so that's something that we talked about Ethereum gaming being a way for people to get into Ethereum there.
Right.
That's a green candle. Right
Yeah,
here.
if I've ever seen, was.
Yeah, it's
just
because
kind of disappeared.
Look at this gap though. I mean, you're looking.
Oh
at,
yeah, there. Yeah.
Huge jump there.
Big spread.
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious these Ether pairs.
Hot. Coming in hot.
493 hot. Going crazy, man.
The FOMO is real right now. So real.
Dude. 72 Gwei?
No Gwei.
Oh man.
That was a terrible pun.
Never
going to do that again.
It was actually amazing. So with in what can you do when the market starts dumping? I tethered. yeah, distract yourself, hide the pain. But
always.
I tethered. So what you can do is sell your coins into USDT or a stable coin like True USD. And those are just 1-to-1 for the dollar, so you're not going to gain or lose anything there. Another option is to find an alt that's pumping.
Yeah.
Increase
Always
your holdings. Yeah. So we saw some nice gains, major sell-offs in Ether. So I'm pretty sure the Ether USD chart was tumbling during this time. Yeah. So this is the same 30-minute candles. So this is right around the time when Ether went down. Got down to 212, by the way. Pretty
scary.
Pretty crazy. And if we look at the same time, we look at HOT, right there in the middle of the screen. Look at that. So while Ether was dumping, HOT was mooning. It went from 426 Gwei up to a peak of about 491 where it is now. Whoa, look at that pump way over 500. So HOT is moving. Great.
Hot.
It's a high trading volume alt that you can use to gain some Ether.
And it's actually a pretty solid project too. The Holochain.
Yeah.
Very, very much worth looking into, especially if you're into blockchain tech and stuff like that, because the Holochain will be sort of like not necessarily the next generation of blockchain tech, but sort of a differentiation of like a blockchain, except it's open source.
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff. So one to watch out for.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely. And so HOT, moving up. There were quite a few other trading pairs that did well. We looked at some of these nice gains here. Actually, Ripple doing well versus Ether. So during this downturn, you could have gained some Ripple, and that right there is juicy, very, very juicy. Basically over 100,000 Gwei very solid over a matter of a few hours. So it's a good day for Ripple versus Ether. So that can be a way to also gain some
Offset,
profits in some dangerous times.
Most def.
Obviously, the other and best way is to short. We don't have a trading platform that does options to show you right now, but if you were to get on BitMEX, which is the biggest one, and go into a short position, get options contracts there, you would actually be able to short Ether, and you could even short Bitcoin, short whatever. For those people who were shorting at like 7,200, 7,300, and Bitcoin went down to 63, that's like an $800 swing. So, you'd be fine.
Yeah, more than fine.
Yeah. So, we saw some big gains from the shorting communities that we're familiar with. Now, we did also see some nice technological developments this week. We wanted to briefly highlight those. We talked a bit last week about EOS. Now, EOS is another platform coin like Ethereum, but the transactional volume, the transactions per second that EOS is showing right now, this is not a future thing, this is not a projected thing. Right now, they're showing higher DApp transactional volume. So remember, when we talk about DApps, they're like apps on your phone,
except
they're distributed along the blockchain in some form or fashion. And that increases security, that increases all kinds of things.
Data integrity.
Exactly. So when we talk about EOS, we look here. Now this is one of the most popular dApps right now on the EOS chain. It's called the EOS Bet Dice.
Yeah.
And this is part of the EOS Bet Casino, which is represented here by BET tokens that they give out. And essentially what happens is that you use this platform, very easy. You have to create an EOS account on the EOS blockchain, just super decentralized, and then you get all kinds of, updates. Like if you want to. So for example, if I roll here, basically I use this slider to determine my payout and my odds, right? And so as I just rolled at 79. Which to me I found is the sweet spot. 79 allows me to have a 78% chance to win because we're rolling below 79 out of 100. My risk is somewhat low, because the odds of losing, therefore, are only 22%.
And the payouts are actually worthwhile.
Yeah. So payout, you get 25% of whatever you put in.
Yeah.
So if I bet 8.
You'll get 2.
I get 2, exactly. So, anyway, there are lots of cool things that you can do here. You can go for a riskier bet, and you can also see what other people are betting.
Sort of see like the strategies that they're using.
Yeah, so these people are choosing their roll under amounts here, and then it displays their roll. So a lot of people like 50s and the 60s.
Yeah.
So if we do just a 50, that puts us, it's a very risky bet in my opinion.
Yeah, but you're also doubling down if you do win.
But you're going to lose more than half the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's this sort of thing could get a lot of people in trouble, as noted in that one Reddit article that you shared with me.
Multiple Reddit
articles. A guy
articles
just got carried away on EOS Bet and ended up blowing through, what was it, like 10,000 EOS?
His goal was to get to 10,000.
Okay.
He was at 5,000 and then decided to try to push. He ended up 73% down because what he ended up doing was he ended up losing and then retransferring in and then losing again and rebuying in. So that's when you're chasing that, that gambler's high, when you're chasing that, getting back to even and then regaining, a lot of people will do a doubling strategy. This is a strategy that originated in France in the 18th century, and it's really dangerous.
It is.
If you start off at 1 EOS, so 1 EOS being the minimum bet here, and you use 51, if I roll this right here, I mean, I have a 50-50 to win, just a coin flip,
Well, not even really a 50-50 if you count the house edge.
You're absolutely right. That now it is still a 50-50 to win, but over time, the house is always going to win 5% of the time.
Yeah.
Now, that is taken into account here on the 50-50 roll. So
Right. Okay. Yeah. You're
so
right.
that's part of it. However, the house does take ultimately each roll is going to take a certain amount.
Yeah.
Because you're getting a little bit taken out. You're not seeing this reflected in your EOS ballots per se, but over time, the house does get its cut.
Sure.
And that's how this
Businesses have to
is set
operate.
up. Now,
They need their share.
this is where it gets interesting, in my opinion. Not just the ability to just kind of just keep doubling, like, good lord, all right, let's roll 128 here. Ready? Boom. 50-50.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Good lord, you made me nervous when you started to hit the mouse. I was like, oh, man.
So 128 at a 50-50, that's just too much for me. That is too much for me. At $5, about $5 a pop, you're looking at about a $600 roll, 50-50 right there. And that's just not, I'm just not interested in that. I feel like I would definitely lose this, even though it's 50-50 and it's certainly not a definite lose.
I mean, knowing my luck. Yeah, I would lose that.
I would say once you get started with EOS bet, if you want to play the dice game, basically keep your bets low and keep your rolls.
Play responsibly.
Definitely play responsibly. Only
invest what you're willing to lose.
Yeah. Like this EOS right here for me is definitely just expendable at this point. I mean, I'm kind of already tethered up on some of my other coins right now, just while we're in this bear market. But as we always say, buy the dip. So if we look, at possible entry points, if I were to buy back in, so I tethered up at EOS at 657, and if I can get back in at $5, that's a swing of $1.57.
Yeah, great stuff.
So even just $1.50 for EOS allows me to basically rebuy in this amount of EOS
for super cheap.
Like, no, I gain this
much.
Yeah. I gain basically my whole dice wallet worth of EOS, which,
good stuff.
Hey, that means that this money is just free to roll.
Yeah.
And
You're
so you can do things like, just do twos. I like rolling twos. Twos are pretty safe. You can you basically, you're gaining half an EOS per. Mm-hmm. So we're about 250 these days at a price of 5, and you're risking $10.
Yep.
But with a 78% chance to win, most time you're going to win. So far, I've been lucky here on stream of only winning. You can definitely lose, as we're seeing here. Anytime you see a green payout, that means someone's getting paid. But if you don't see that, that means they lost. So
let's have a look at some of the huge wins.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So these are all relatively small. I mean, again, $150 roll here. $200 rolls here. But if we look at the huge wins, then we see some big rolls. So this is a $5,000 roll right here. It just happened today. This guy, his account
just happened like a few minutes ago. Matter of fact.
Yeah. So he had a roll under 30. Okay, so let's dial that in and see what the odds are. So he had a roll under 30, which is a 29% win rate, which to me is just
super dangerous.
Is extremely
so risky.
Dangerous. And his bet was 1,200 EOS.
But he rolled a 21 and walked away with 4,100 EOS.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So more than tripling. The question is though, this guy also had a big win here, big win here, big win here.
Guy was just getting lucky all over the place.
Yeah.
That's retirement money right there.
I mean, look at this though. Roll under a 6.
It gets a 3. Like, bruh, hacks. Like, what are you doing?
5% win rate.
Oh, what the?
Now, here's the thing. I can tell you that this guy is not just rolling this one time.
No. Okay. He is just rolling.
So for him to do a roll under 6 and win, he must have lost several times.
Statistically, you have to.
So he's got $750 rolls. He's doing at a 5% win rate. Just lose.
And hopes to make that back.
And then gets one in there for 3,000 EOS. So that's 15,000. 15 grand.
Bora Bora, baby.
So anyway, EOS Dice. It's definitely an up and coming, really up and coming game. It's been out for we have 3 weeks of data.
Yep.
The number of games played. Week 1 had 340 dice games played. Week 2 went up to 1,500, and Week 3 was up over 3,000 games.
Yeah, so
the
huge growth.
The volume of games played growing. I would say, from a tech point of view, really very stable. Once you create your EOS account, you can use this EOS toolkit to stake your coins, as well as to keep your coins in your wallet. And staking gives you resource. So basically, to operate on the EOS blockchain, instead of using gas to basically fund the transactions that you're doing over the blockchain, in EOS you stake coins, and in return you basically are borrowing CPU, network,
computing
and
power.
RAM bandwidth.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you can see here that there are definitely a number of networks here that you can go to within the EOS toolkit as well. There's a voting.
Yeah, the governance.
Excuse me. There's a voting part here. Well, the governance is kind of the general rules, but if we look here, don't know if it's that one. Let's see here. So, okay. So this is really interesting. Now, EOS, very decentralized, and I would say very democratic in a way.
Yeah.
Because what happens is that in order to be a block producer, so a block producer in EOS is like, is a trusted node that is dedicated to be up a certain amount of the time and to basically create blocks on the network.
Yeah.
And so when that network is, when the organization is trying to become a block producer, you have all these requirements, technical requirements to be there, but you have to be voted in by the community. So we see here that this is constantly evolving. A number of these, now these are all, this is another thing I love about EOS. These block producers here, these are all accounts.
Yeah.
Okay? When you talk about Ethereum, when you talk about Bitcoin, pretty much all of the other coins out there,
you have these long strings of addresses.
Yeah,
you're not going to be able to memorize that.
Oh, I mean, impossible to memorize.
Unless you're like Rain Man or something, but
yeah, impossible to memorize. Difficult to keep track of. You have to make sure you're spelling things right. You have to copy paste. We saw instances of where hacks can take over the clipboard on your computer. Or your extensions, and can copy that information and then steal it.
Super sketchy.
Yeah. And when you go to paste, it's modified, so you send it to the wrong place.
9 times out of 10, you're not going to realize it.
Yeah, and so that's why we've talked about whenever you're doing transfers with Bitcoin, Ether, and that kind of thing, where you don't have this system, to always verify, double check, the letters and numbers and all that. EOS has just gotten rid of all of that. They said, it is absurd that you have to have this long string of characters, because that in itself, in my opinion, is a barrier to adoption. When people look at that huge just string of characters, it's not really human readable. I mean, you look at it and it's like, okay, this is kind of interesting. But
from a security standpoint, yes, it's very smart. But in terms of practicality and utility, it's just nobody's going to be able to remember that. It's like, it's like asking somebody, hey, what's your email address? Oh, well, it's 0x7943xyab. Like, it does not compute.
Useless.
Like, I don't get it.
It's so difficult to use that it's I'm not gonna say it's fully useless, but
no, it has its use. But
now with EOS having like my EOS account, you can find me on the EOS blockchain at Shrifty12223.
Yep.
And so that's something that I just made up, right? I checked to see if it was there, created my account, and honestly, going from there. So then when you go to the dice betting game, once you need a Scatter wallet, and what Scatter does is it fits into the decentralized nature of EOS by basically creating a pair.
Yeah.
So you create a pair with your private key, which is only you have, only you know, and your public address. And the public address is going to have an account name, and the account name is what you type in 12 alphanumeric characters.
Right.
Basically 1 through 5 is the number choices. So
it's like the MetaMask of EOS.
Exactly. That's a great way to describe it. Scatter is very similar to MetaMask. We saw in a previous stream how we can use MetaMask to move around Ethereum. The problem relative to what Scatter does with MetaMask is
his MetaMask is broke. Apparently.
It is 100% broken. I think it's trying to check to see if I've logged in, but it's been a while, so
yeah, it'll be alright.
Anyway, now the Ethereum wallet MetaMask, when it goes to connect to a page, like let's say you go to connect to like a decentralized exchange like IDEX, or you go on like any DApp or something.
CryptoKitties.
There you go, CryptoKitties. Get ready to breed. So when you do anything like that, basically the MetaMask broadcasts your address information just blindly. Like you go on there and it just sends the information, and it kind of assumes that you will not send your address to the wrong place, which, let's be honest, between scams and stuff on the internet, it's very risky to kind of put that information out there. EOS takes all that out, and they have a permission system that's super interesting. So but anyway, I think I just think it's fascinating how EOS works. We'll continue to look at this at a later time, but just to give you a little inkling about where EOS is going, they are committed to being the commercial blockchain for adoption and everything.
Absolutely.
Right now, in terms of transactions per second, Ethereum handles about 15 transactions per second on their blockchain. EOS is up around 4,000.
Yeah, chugging along. The EOS, like we've discussed before, they're doing the things that EOS said, or I'm sorry, EOS is doing the things that Ethereum said they would do, except they're doing them much faster.
Yeah.
And I know I've said it before, Ethereum seems to be kind of hyper-focused on solving the problem of scalability, which, is all well and good. But it's important to not get tunnel vision and become hyper-focused on that singular issue.
Yeah.
Why not, spread yourself out instead of, throwing all of your resources into one, sort of problem that you need to tackle, while EOS, they've got, stuff that they're working on all over the place, and they're just knocking these obstacles down left and right.
Yeah.
Fat guy with the huge gut. Hey, what's going on, man? Sweet name.
Yeah, great name, man. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to the stream. We just discussed EOS as a potential competitor to Ethereum. We're great. We've got our.
Oh yeah, man.
We're all We're all just having a good time talking about crypto. And, so...
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks a lot for stopping by. So we also wanted to say that, speaking of EOS, we have created our Tribe account.
Yeah.
Now, Tribe, like we talked about Minds is a distributed application for social media. Okay?
On the Ethereum blockchain.
That's right. You use Ethereum blockchain to access and use Minds. EOS has gone ahead and created a platform where you can actually do social activities. You post, follow other people, those kind of things, and right on the EOS blockchain. Now, Tribe is very new.
Very, very, very new.
And so it does have, some issues, that they're working on, but they have a great system where basically you can check out, different people's articles.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I think, a big difference between Tribe and a lot of the other social networks is that you can go and basically people create articles like Medium, that kind of style of article, and um, just by this is interesting actually, a big update on the
Tribe joins Brave payments.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So that's a great example and a great case of sort of like inter-projects. Basic attention token being one of the Coinbase 5 that we talked about before,
Yeah.
and their Brave browser, one of the most secure, seamless, easy to use browsers. Being able to merge that with Tribe and EOS, those are the kind of projects we need to see more of, instead of everybody just kind of focusing on one thing and their own projects. Sort of like you see these collabos that happen between different platforms. I think that's great.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yep, absolutely. And Brave browser, the one that I'm using here, displayed on the screen, just hit I think 10 million downloads. It was a major milestone for them.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I mean, really, truthfully, I will say this: when I first started using the Brave browser, I was just head over heels in love with it. Everything about it was great. Having used it quite a bit, I can give you some updates on that review. Overall, everything.
A few minutes up from the last time.
Yeah, we see
saving
the time,
that time.
the time saving there. I will say this: because of the features that are in it,
Yeah.
the initial startup time of the Brave browser is a bit longer than Chrome. Yeah, so it's kind of a trade-off at that point. Also, I would say that there are still some compatibility issues with really cutting-edge stuff in the Brave browser just because it is new. For example, I can't use my EOS. You'll see me switch between Brave and Chrome. I can't use my EOS login on a Scatter wallet just because the extension isn't available yet in the Brave browser. So I can't use Scatter, which means I can't log in to my Scatter identity, which means I can't get on the toolkit, which means I can't do things like go to the best, the dice game. So that's why I'm switching between here. But generally speaking, the Brave browser is excellent for most of your daily needs. It does have this really cool shielding thing, and you can even go, you can go to the, let's see, where is it? I'm trying to think where the BAT token part is.
Let's see.
Forget. Maybe settings. There we go. So, anyway, at the end of the day, what you can do is with the BAT system is keep an eye out for monthly free BAT tokens that get sent out within the browser, and you can just click through there, and then suddenly you're able to kind of passively, anonymously support the websites that you use. So if that's important to you, then that's something that you should look into.
Yeah, that's a great way to help content creators, generate some revenue from the stuff that they create, and it honestly doesn't cost you, as the Brave browser user, to contribute this, since you're passively generating it and then passing that passive earnings along to content creators. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
It's great.
And we talked a little bit about extensions,
Yes.
About how there's MetaMask and there's now Scatter and those kind of things. Now, you had been talking a little bit earlier off stream about there was an issue with one of the Google Chrome extensions.
Yeah, so there is a file sharing and upload platform called Mega. They've been around for about 5 years now. Very popular platform, available both on Firefox and Chrome. Well, sad to say, but or at least the Google Chrome extension for Mega was hacked, and that hack was used to steal login credentials for wallets. It would take crypto keys and sort of like take access away from the original and rightful owner. And so a lot of people ended up losing out on that. The hack was spotted by somebody who immediately sent out a warning to everybody to disable that extension to protect your wallet keys and things like that.
Yeah.
So in an interview or a statement that Mega made, I'll try to read through this as quickly as possible. We would like to apologize for this significant incident. Mega uses strict release procedures with multi-party code review, robust build workflow, and cryptographic signatures where possible.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Google decided to disallow publisher signatures on Chrome extensions and is now relying solely on signing them automatically after upload to the Chrome Web Store, which removes an important barrier to external compromise. So basically what that means is Google essentially controls the signature permissions instead of the platform, Mega.
That's right.
That's not the case with Firefox, because Firefox, they allow the creator to retain that permission. So following up on that, let's see, where was that? I can't see, it's so small.
Right Megasync.
Yeah, Megasync and our Firefox extension are signed and hosted by us, and could therefore not have fallen victim to this attack vector. While our mobile apps are hosted by Apple, Google, and Microsoft, they are cryptographically signed by us and therefore immune as well. So, really, sort of like a tongue-in-cheek blame to Google for this by not allowing Mega to actually control their own signatures.
Yeah.
So, really, really disastrous there. So, it's always very, very important, especially on open source software, to make sure that what you're downloading is what you're intending to download, and make sure it's coming from a trusted source.
Yeah.
Make sure it's a verified source, and just do everything that you can to protect yourself from something like this, because the crypto is very much in the Wild West days. So like once something like this happens to you, there's no getting it back. Like it's gone forever. This isn't like a bank robbery where your money is insured. So once your wallets are, hijacked, then, it's bye-bye Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's too bad, too sad. It's unfortunate, but there are, people out there trying to make a very dishonest buck, and this is one of the many, many ways to do it.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And really, when we get back to kind of the security and how to, kind of protect yourself, really with crypto, it could take years for you to get a turnaround if like an exchange was hacked where you had your money. You saw the Mt. Gox payouts years after, when we talk about, other hacks more recently that have kind of played with the markets a little bit, like you said, there's no guarantee you're getting that back.
Yeah, and something like that, if you're a big hodler of crypto and your wallet is taken from you, that can be devastating. Like, who knows how much money people have tied up in their wallets.
Yeah.
And to lose your funds over an extension hack that, could have ultimately been prevented in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just so sad that, that's sort of the place that we're in with this. But, we have to live and we learn, There's, necessity is the mother of invention, and something like this, it just prompts us to beef up security in other places so that something like this doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
So Google, get your shit together. I'm not afraid to call you out. So
yeah, I mean, just forcing people to get security permissions from the web store is just asking for them to be a target. I mean, the reason why these decentralized apps and those kind of things work is that they manage the permissions, not Google.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Absolutely. And we also saw a Bitcoin reference this week. A prominent rapper mentioned Bitcoin.
Yeah. So just a little bit of current event news, I guess. There's this big hype going on, the Eminem versus Machine Gun Kelly rap battle beef, whatever. But on Eminem's new album, Kamikaze, Royce da 5'9", an old school rapper back in the 90s, was featured on one of the tracks, and he gives Bitcoin a shout out. So it's those small things that happen in mainstream media and mainstream entertainment that sort of push that, adoption rate further and further and further.
Yeah.
Because, who knows? Maybe there's an Eminem fan out there who's never heard of Bitcoin before, and now thanks to Royce to 5'9", now he has.
Yeah.
And now we have a new investor. So,
exactly. And
it's great stuff.
remember, with Bitcoin, you don't have to be a big investor. There's no minimums, that you
Right.
really have to
You
get
can
in.
invest fractional amounts, $20 here, $50 here.
Mhm.
You don't have to be, a big whale in the ocean. You don't have to dump your entire paycheck into it by any means. Like, there are people that take, 10, 15, $20 out of each paycheck and just, buy a few sats here and there.
Yeah, or Gwei, or whatever
Yeah,
the
or
case may
Gwei,
be.
or EOS, Ether Classic, you name it. I mean,
I do want to, just speaking of buying, I do want to just mention, remember we always talk about buying the dip?
BTFD.
Are you going to get Ether cheaper than 226?
You could have yesterday at like 212.
Yeah, but that was bottom of the dip. I mean, But any time around, around kind of, this range here, we look at the 7-day, painful. Painful.
Oh, my heart. Oh, my heart. I think it's funny that our partner, JR, aptly decided to set his Discord avatar as the new Ethereum logo, the open wallet with nothing in it. So if you're watching, JR, I hate you for that, by the way.
I think it's hilarious.
It's hilarious, but I still hate you for that.
Well, that's just hatred born of misery and regret. No, but I'm just
I jest.
Yeah, of course, and again, there are strategies you can take to protect yourself when the markets do turn kind of downward like that. I think it's hilarious because it speaks to the lack of faith in the Ethereum blockchain.
And there's a lot of it. There's so much faith and disbelief in Ethereum, or I'm sorry, in the Ether cryptocurrency. There are people that believe that the Ethereum blockchain will continue on and be a valuable project and a valuable tool. But there's, on the same coin, there's people that believe that Ethereum as a crypto will fall to zero.
Yeah.
In terms of valuation.
And we discussed this on a previous stream, but I would add that there was a response from Vitalik Buterin about this.
The God King Emperor himself.
Yes, and he said that basically what you said, 90% of it is right.
Mm-hmm.
However, in two debated upcoming changes that are happening to the Ethereum protocol, basically they're both in some form or fashion enshrining the requirement that smart contracts use gas to pay for transactions. So if that wasn't a hard requirement, even Buterin himself would say, hey, it's possible that you could use tokens from another thing instead of Ether, but going forward, he's going to force everyone to use that.
Yeah, no, using ERC20 tokens as a form of payment for gas to transfer Ethereum-based tokens and coins along the blockchain can be done, but that sort of creates a whole other problem that could be faced in the future. What happens if, that coin or that token that somebody uses to pay gas to a miner is in the future rendered, worthless. So now you're basically putting that miner in a position where he's going to have to absorb that loss.
Yeah.
Because of, a coin's failure at some point in the future.
Yeah.
Projects are born and they die every day. So, it's not entirely unreasonable to think that, by paying a miner in an ERC20 token other than Ethereum, you could be setting them up for future loss, and they'll have to create a wallet to handle those tokens specifically, and it creates a whole other set of problems that just can be avoided entirely.
Yeah, all true. I would just add to that Ether is pushing, and they are moving away from proof of work.
Yep.
But you know, there are still those at BTC.com and some of the other mining pools out there who are expecting to still be able to mine Ethereum using a kind of lending slash hybrid staking, procedure. And as we get closer to the upcoming Ethereum fork later in the year, we will be kind of getting into that in a little bit more detail.
I'm definitely interested to see how that's all gonna pan out.
Yeah. So that's upcoming. For next week, we're going to have, kind of a recap of the weekend's activities as well. Also, look for an updated walkthrough through Tribe. We're going to be getting set up on that over the weekend. And so we'll have a full Tribe page with some tutorials there. Other than that, anything else that, we have upcoming that you're tracking right now?
Just a quick mention of Coinbase adding the British pound trading pair.
Wonderful news.
Great step in the right direction, pushing into Europe, bringing investors across the pond, or perhaps on your side of the pond if you're watching from Europe. So be paying attention to that. I believe the British pounds trading pair goes live tomorrow.
That's right.
On Coinbase, so be looking out for that if you're a European investor.
Yeah, and that'll
especially in England.
That'll be on all of the major coins that are offered at Coinbase right now. So that includes Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic recently added,
right,
and we got Litecoin as well. So
great stuff. Coinbase, pushing in the right direction. They got their UK their e-money license. From the UK Financial Conduct Authority. So basically, they just sort of gave them the opportunity to expand into Europe and the UK. So great news hearing an American-based exchange pushing into Europe there. Yeah, dude. I went on a bit of a meme rampage yesterday because, you got to laugh in the face of a downtrending market. So, Daddy Bitcoin here... whipping his little shit coins into shape.
That is it's pretty funny, a little edgy, so don't take it too serious.
No, we don't mean anything, anything nefarious or anything negative about this. We just do this for the lulz. And then,
truck full of FUD.
Truck full of FUD coming to a town near you.
That's amazing. Well, as always, you can find the latest memes and dreams on our Twitter account at @real_blog talk.
As talking about memes, we love our shirts and we love our memes. Update on our shirts from Borkchain Inc. They will be here tomorrow.
Hey.
Tomorrow they will be in our mailbox. So thank you, JR, for that. Looking forward to being able to wear those on next week's stream. So you'll be able to see exactly what we've been working on with JR and Borkchain Inc. Super excited about that. So
big shout out to JR and the Borkchain team. They've really put together a great site, and you can actually get to it just by going to borkchain.com. And not only just for the memes, you're also supporting a charity by buying in, and for dog rescue. Even if you don't purchase this Doge shirt, but I'm actually kind of a big fan of it. Obviously being a dog person, you have more dogs than I do, so
got 4 of them.
That Doge shirt's got to be calling your name.
It is, and these shirts, they come in an assortment of colors and sizes and all sorts of stuff. So there's something for everybody there. There's even some accessories, cell phone cases, some socks. So definitely head on over to borkchain.com, visit Borkchain Inc., check them out, support a great small business owner, and a portion of that proceed will go to animal rescue, a great thing.
Is the cryptocurrency
not live yet?
It's not live yet.
Still in progress, but he's working on integrating 130 different coins and tokens that people will be able to pay for. So wide variety of payment methods there. And as always, PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, so on and so
Yeah,
forth.
accepted here. You can actually contact him directly on Facebook. Just look for Borkchain Inc. on Facebook,
Yep.
and you'll be able to find him, reach out to him, and pay via cryptocurrency if you prefer. And once he gets that set up, you'll actually have a wallet you can just deposit to.
Yeah. Yep, and if you're in our Discord, he is RexCoin. He is the CEO of Doge. So you can reach out to him there in case you want to pick up one of these shirts.
Yep.
So yeah, appreciate it, JR. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing those shirts tomorrow, and we're gonna rock the shit out of them Tuesday next week for the lulls.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, looking forward to that.
Absolutely. And, so that really kind of brings us to the end of the stream here.
Yep.
We have had a great time discussing the week's news. Despite the kind of downturn that we saw yesterday, we're still very, very, positive about the scene. For me personally, the fact that technological and business innovation keeps happening
every day.
I mean, outside of the price activity, so that is an important area for sure. But the fact that Ripple just closed a record number of contracts they disclosed,
100 of them.
I mean, really, really interesting stuff. So that's why we see a bit of a spike in Ripple today. But we do want to just extend a warm welcome to any new viewers. And,
Absolutely.
And for all those folks who are participating in chat, we love it. We eat it up.
And we also got a couple new followers. Kryptonite Chick, thanks for following. S. Parsons 12, thanks for following. A lot of new members in our Discord. Whether or not they're watching, we would like to extend our deepest gratitude for participating in our chat. The chat is what keeps things interesting, creates a dialogue outside of what you see here on stream. We're always engaged in the Discord. We're always there, so feel free to ask any questions. Bring up any discussions you might like to talk about, and we're definitely there. And everybody is in there to be a part of the dialogue and the discussion. So there's something for everybody in there, especially in the side pane where there's different chats, different functions that you can use. So please feel free to utilize those as much as you like. That's what they're there for. That's why we created it.
Absolutely. So don't forget to check that out. But that's going to wrap it up for us here at Block Talk. So thanks again for tuning in. And we wish you a wonderful rest of the week. And we'll see you next week, Tuesday afternoon, normal stream time. And looking forward to seeing you then.
Have a great weekend, guys. Trade safe.
Trade safe.
make me weak. You're the one I seek, and I hate that I love you. I hate that I love you. If I could, and I would, count your heart, count your heart, and I reincarnate it, and I reincarnate it. It's hard to keep smiling when you're closing every door. I'm trying to open. I tell you love you more, and you say it's broken. You make me weak. You're the one I seek, and I hate that I love you. I hate that I love you. If I could, and I would, count your heart, count your heart, and I reincarnate it, and I reincarnate it. It's hard to keep smiling when you're closing every door. I'm trying to open. I tell you love you more, and you say it's broken. But it wouldn't